Hi.
Okay, so hello again, and welcome back to this third lesson of programming stuff.
Yeah.
Today I will essentially try to teach you some more about strings, and essentially how to work with strings and do interesting things with strings. So first of all, do you remember anything from last lesson? What do you remember from last lesson? If I told you to create a new variable, let's make a new variable called myString, and set that equal to just some kind of random string.
For example, the first one we need to put the print, right?
No, wait, create a new variable called myString and set that equal to just a string.
Oh, alright. So, what's the first step? Need to...
Well, you first need to create the actual variable. How do you make a variable in Python?
Forgot.
Not in there, no. You need to write something down.
It's
You
like,
need to make a variable, write down a statement within Python that tells the computer to set up a variable. How do you do that?
like,
You first write down the name of the variable, the name you want to give it, so myString in this case.
like this.
No, I said we need to create a variable called myString.
My
Without a space, because spaces don't work within variables.
string.
And then set that equal to something.
Alright.
Now we want to make it a string, so what do you set it equal to?
Equal to, I don't know, some words.
Well, first you need to open something. Open some quotation marks. No, those are not quotation marks. The quotation marks essentially tell your computer that the thing that it's about to work on is a string. It's a piece of text. Otherwise, the computer will just not understand it. It'll try to process it as if it were just lines of code, and they're not, so it doesn't work. Okay, so now we have a new string.
Yeah.
So first of all, the first interesting thing you can do with strings, a relatively useful thing, is a thing called an f-string within Python, which essentially allows you to put inside strings to concatenate, put together different strings and different variable types to make essentially just a single thing. So for example, in the example I have here, we have two strings as well as an integer set to 5, and then we essentially just create a new f-string, which is just the name of this thing, by essentially putting a new string, so f-string, we're creating a new variable, and then we're setting this new variable equal to just a normal string, but before these quotation marks, you write f. This is essentially telling the computer that this will be an f-string, and it allows you to create this special different string, in which, if you open curly brackets like this, you can essentially insert inside the string some other variable. So if you put int1 in here, what this does is essentially you're telling the computer to create a string in which to put the contents of integer 1. So in this case, given that integer 1 is set to 5, you're creating a string with which inside you put the number 5 inside the string, and you can do this as well with other things. So for example, if you wanted to put inside string 2, you could just create another curly brackets and put in string 2. And this essentially creates this entire line, for example, essentially creates a new string which contains as its first thing the number 5, because you just set this equal to integer 1. Then there's a comma, a space, and then the contents of string 2, which in this case would be world! And so this is an interesting and useful way to create strings which contain information. So, for example, if we looked at this string up here, f-strings is equal to this. So what would you expect to be printed out after this print statement?
Like,
So I've declared these three variables, and this f-string is equal to this. So print f-strings. What will actually be printed on the screen, do you think?
so they print the thing with the string.
Just tell me by words what will be printed out.
String 1, hello, words.
Okay.
This is int 5.
Okay. And so now we can just run the code, and as you see here, hello world, this is an integer 5. You were right. That's how f-strings work. So let's try to make an f-string for you. So set up integer and set an integer equal to something else.
Like, I need to start with my string.
No, set up an integer. Make a new variable that is an integer and set it to just a number.
I need to change the name.
Well, if you need a new variable, you need a new variable name as well.
So
No, you already have hi, hi, hi. Hi, hi, hi is already defined above. So you can't really reuse it. Or you could, but you'd just be changing the variable. I'd like to make a new variable, yes?
Oh, four.
And now make it an integer.
I just need to write the number or
No, I mean, so you try. What do you remember from last lesson? No.
no?
That's yet another variable type which I won't go
Like
into.
this?
That's a string.
I need.
No,
Yeah, type.
that's a tuple, technically, I think. Tuple.
Let me remind.
Yes, you just need to put a number.
Oh,
You just
that's
need to put a
put-
number.
alright.
That means set hi 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 to the number 6. And now create me a boolean value
Bullet? Like
called my
the-
bool. My bool.
My
Bool.
bool. Like this?
No, B-O-O-L.
B-O-O-L.
L. L. No, B-O-O-L. Yes.
Alright.
And set that equal to just a boolean value. What's a boolean value again?
It's a Boolean value.
Yeah, what's a boolean? A bool.
Is the a variable that contain the other variable?
No, it's just a variable that contains true or false.
The string?
It's what?
The what?
It's a variable that contains true or false.
True. Right.
Like 1 or 0, just yeah.
Alright.
Either it's one thing or it's another one.
My bool.
And so set this to either true or false.
So I need to write true, right? True.
Yes, and in this case, because you're not making a string, you're making a boolean, you don't need quotation marks.
Alright.
Okay, so now we have 3 different variables.
Yes.
Now, please try, using as reference my example over here, to concatenate these different variables together in an F string that just
Alright.
contains all of them. Also, over here, you're essentially making a new variable, so you can change your name if you want. You can put whatever name you want. F string is just one possible name.
Alright.
You can also put hello, or this is a string, or whatever you want. I think you already defined Stephen at the top.
Hi, Steven. No, I didn't.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so how would you go about this?
Yeah.
Create an F
so-
string which contains all of those things.
Like this, right?
No,
What?
no. You're creating an F string. It's still a string. It's still a type of string. So to declare a string, you need quotation marks.
First we need quotation.
So an F string will have an F prior to it and then quotation marks.
F, then quotation mark.
Yes.
Then I need the quotes, right?
No, you need curly brackets, which are... yeah, you make them by clicking Option, then Shift, and then square brackets, so this button here.
Alright.
And then inside these brackets, what do you put? You need to put together all those things.
Then you need a comma.
You don't necessarily need a comma. This is just a normal string now, so you can just write whatever you want, put as many spaces as you want. You can write anything in there,
Alright.
because again, you're working with a string. It's just
Same-
a bunch of text.
The same bracket.
Yes.
Right. Like this.
Okay, yes, excellent. And now, what do you think will be printed on the screen if you were to print this?
He. About this. He.
Yes?
The integer 6
Yes.
and 2.
Okay, fantastic. Yes, exactly. Okay, so now please print on the screen both the variable itself as well as the type of variable that is. No, not print is equal to. You're not creating a new variable.
I see.
Okay, and now please print the type of that variable on the screen.
Oh, I forgot. Where is it?
No, you don't need to. We're programming. You don't need to click anything. Like,
Right.
for whatever thing you will ever have to do within Python and in general in programming, you will need to type it down. You don't ever have to click a button and that will solve the thing in the integrated development environment. The thing that this application does is just give you a space in which you can type away and write whatever you want to write. If you need to print something on the screen, you'll never click a button outside the main text interface that will let you print it on the screen. You'll have to write something down inside the program, and that will allow you to print it on the screen.
Alright.
So please write a new line of code that allows you to print on the screen the type of variable that is Stephen. Yes, good job, good job. So now, what do you think will be printed on the screen? If we were, let me do something real quick. This will just comment the code up here. So essentially what this does is to tell the computer to not run this code for now, because we're just considering this stuff. Okay, so now, please tell me, what will be printed on the screen? What do you think will be written on the screen if we run this code?
The variable, so the thing that inside my string variable.
Okay.
Right? The first thing, so he.
Okay.
Then number 6, the true, and
Okay.
the type of this variable.
What is the type of that variable?
F string.
It's actually just a normal string.
String.
F strings are just ways to construct strings.
F string. Yeah. Right.
So, okay, now please try and run it. Now this, to run the code, you'll have to click a button outside the main text interface.
Is it? No?
Yeah, no, that's
Alright.
right. So hi 6 true class string.
alright.
Yes, good job. That's good. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so now let's delve into another interesting property about strings. That is string indexation, I think it's called. Just anyways, finding indexes of strings. Essentially, you can think of a string as simply a bunch of characters, right? A list of characters that in a certain order are printed on the screen or exist in the computer. So, for example, over here in my computer, we have, for example, the string find third character. And essentially, again, all that the string is a sequence of characters. We have the first character, the second character, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th character in this case. So, because of this, Python allows you to essentially access individual characters of those strings. To access those characters, see what they are, and essentially do things with the specific characters. And to do this, in particular, you do something that's, well, the way you write this, the way you index a character, is by essentially writing the string you want to index from, so string 1, in this case. And then from string 1, you add some squared brackets at the end, and inside put the position of the character you're interested in. This position is called the index of the character, which is again just a measure of where the character is within the string. But be careful. In programming, computers count from 0. So if you want the first character, this F, you'll have to write 0 instead of 1. So character 0, string 1, square bracket 0, is essentially telling the computer to go to string 1 and finding the 0th, or the first in this case, character of string 1. So in this case, what would be the character?
F.
Okay, what if I put string 3?
So, and
F-I-N-D.
D.
Because we have the 0th character, the first
right.
character, second character, and D is the third character
Right.
in this circumstance. Okay, so, now let's see, please guide me through this section here of the program. What will happen when I run it? So what does the first line do? Line
So
21.
the string 1, you put some character, right?
Well, you set string 1 equal to the following sequence of words, right?
Words. Then.
Then in this second line, what happens?
This is a new variable
Okay.
that contained the string 1 before, and you need to find which character. You need to put a number, and that's
I'm not sure I follow what you mean.
like, so the new variable
Yes, we made a new variable, and then what are we setting this new variable equal to?
equal to the string that contained the character.
No, we're setting it equal to the third character in this case, because character number 2, but we're counting from 0. So the third character of string 1.
Third character.
So this is saying, this is telling the computer to set up a new variable, and then to look at string 1, so in this case find third character, and then looking
Why
at
third
the
character?
character with index 2, because we're talking about indexes again, we start counting from 0. So F would be the 0th character, I would be the first character, and N, so the third character in the sequence, would be the character with index 2. And so, third character is set to be equal to the character with index 2, so the third character of string 1, which in this case is N. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And then we print on the screen third character. What appears on the screen?
So the third character, like the
The variable third
the
char.
variable.
So what will appear on the screen?
Letter N? No?
Yes.
Yes.
So now if we try and run it, look down here. N. See? You understand how this works, more or less?
Yeah, yeah. More or less.
Okay, so now you could try yourself. So set up again another string, or we could just use the same string as before. So please find the fourth character of my string.
What's the first step?
The fourth character of my string, please.
I need to write? Fourth cap. No.
Yeah, create a new variable and set it equal to the fourth character of my string. No, wait.
What?
Set this variable equal to the fourth character of the other variable, my string. We already have a variable called string called my string. So find the fourth character of that variable
So you need to find if I
and set that fourth character to another variable.
character.
Why are you adding a space? Shouldn't add a space because otherwise the variable doesn't work.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. This is just a name. You can put any name you ever want. This is just a variable. That'll work just fine.
Right.
Okay, no. Wait, I don't think you have entirely understood what I'm asking you to do. We have the variable myString over here, and this myString is equal to hi, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, set up a new variable, in this case you called it 1, that's perfectly fine. And inside this new variable, save the fourth character of the variable myString. Okay?
Alright.
Go ahead, try.
The fourth variable.
The fourth character within variable myString.
Character. I need to type the fourth characters.
No, you don't need to type the fourth character. You need to tell the computer to go into my string, find the fourth character, and set it equal, and put it inside of 1.
Like this?
No.
No, what?
Now look at the syntax over here. What did I do over here to find the third character? I'm asking you to do essentially the exact same thing. Set up a string, you already have the string, and then find a given character. How did I do it here? No, I did not do it like that. You already have a string. My string is over there. So, you need to put equal 1 is equal to the fourth character of my string. So how did I do it here?
My string
Yes.
and the bracket.
Okay, that's option this.
Option what?
Option and the same button you click for the curly brackets without the shift.
Alright, then the fourth. Right, this one.
Computers count from 0. Okay, that will find you the first character.
So it's 3. Right.
Good job, yes. So what will 1 be equal to?
What?
What will the variable 1 contain after that line runs?
So 0, 1, 2, 3. Y.
Yes, good job. Okay, fantastic. Now finally, just as one extension of this, the indexing of strings, another thing you can do, well, actually there's a couple of interesting things. One thing you could do is, what if you wanted to find like the last character of a string? You didn't know the length of the string, but you just wanted to find the last character. Well, a way you can do this is to put inside these brackets, instead of putting just a positive number, so 0, 1, 2, etc., you can just put -1. -1 or minus any integer number will find you essentially it will start from the back and start counting down until it gives you the character you want.
Right.
So -1 will give you the last character, -2 would give you the second to last character, -3 the third to last, etc. So if we put last character is equal to string 1 minus 3 in here, for example, what would last char be equal to?
H.
Yes, good job. And if we put -2, it would be equal to
A.
-1?
R.
Yes, exactly. And finally, one last interesting thing. What if you wanted to select a sequence, specific sequence of text within the string? So what if you didn't want to just find a specific character, but like 2 or 3 characters in a row? So for example, from the second character to the 7th character. Well, you could do that. Second to 7th. for example, you can do that simply by using the same process, so string 1, and then setting inside these curly brackets, instead of putting an actual number, just a number, you can put the start, the starting character you want, then 2 dots, and the final character. So in this case, it goes from character with index 1 up to character with index 6.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's included, yes.
Okay.
Let's try print second to 7. And this should ideally print the second character, so I, up to the 7th character. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. No. Okay, so the first one is included, the second one is excluded. So in this case, these would be the second character to the 7th character. So 2nd character, 3rd character, 4th character, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Okay.
So this is how you just select bits of the string. So again, you can try that as well. In here, for example, I'll give you another challenge. In here we have a string called myString, which is equal to hi, 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 right? Okay, please select out of that string one of the highs.
One of the highs.
So yeah, essentially, instead of hi, 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 please create a new variable and set it equal to a single one of these highs.
So new variable.
Yes, and then set this equal to, using this string indexes, set this equal to a single particular one of the highs in this in my string hi, hi, hi. Do you kind of understand?
Yeah, kind of. Maybe.
Just see what you can do. Try.
So high. Right. My string.
Okay, capitalization is important.
What's the bracket?
Option and yes, good job.
So high one, like this.
What do you think that will print? Tell me what your thought process was.
H. Y H.
Well, H is what character?
0. Alright. So it is Y and H.
Yeah, that would print YH.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, no, that would just print Y.
Why?
Because it's exclusive. So from 1 to 2 would just get you the character with index 1. So in this case, just Y. So how would you get high? The entirety of high?
So high.
Yeah. H and Y.
H and Y.
Yes.
0.
Yes, good job.
0.
So this would give you the
So
0th character and the
is
first character.
include like H, Y, and H, or just H, Y.
I think this should just be just HY. And I mean, if you want, you can just test it. Try and print 2 to the screen and see what comes out.
What's the print is like this. Put 2, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? This one. Alright, cool.
And indeed, it works. Okay, so I guess we can end it here for now. I'll have other stuff to teach in the future, but yeah, that should be mostly it for strings. No, actually, one last thing.
Okay.
Well, one final thing for an index. There might be some situations in which you want to find a specific character within a string, but you don't know what index it is in. So Python has essentially given us the possibility to find, instead of finding characters based on their index, we can find the index of the first occurring character within a string. So for example, over here we have string 1 and is equal to find the first letter I, for example. And by using the second line of code, we're able to essentially tell the computer to go into string 1, find the first I, and then give us the index of that I. And how is this done? Well, essentially you give the computer the name of the variable, so string 1, which just tells it, again, go to string 1, and then dot index. This is essentially telling the computer to go into string 1, and then by using string 1, finding the index of the letter I, in this case. And so what you're doing here is, it's again going into string 1, finding the first occurrence of I, so in this case the second letter, and giving back the index, which would be 1. And so this entire line just returns 1. So string 1 dot index I gives you 1.
Why? Why is 1?
1 is the index of the first I. Because if we go in here, this is the index of f is 0, and the index of this 1 is the second letter, so it's 1. You understand?
Right.
And interestingly enough, this you don't just have to do you can do this not only with letters, but with actual words. So if in here you were to put IR, for example, this would look inside string 1 for the first occurrence of IR and give you the starting index of that. So it will find on the 0th index there's an F, on the first index there's an I, but it's not followed by an R, and so it would go all the way up to IR in first and give that index.
Okay.
Okay, so now again you could try something like that. So please set up a new string, maybe, yeah? Or actually, you know what? Let's have some practice in changing variables. Please change my string to be equal to something else. How do you change what is contained within a variable?
Change.
No.
What?
Instead of creating a new variable, set my string equal to something else.
Set my string equal to something else.
Yeah.
So
To
just
another variable. To another integer string. Sorry. To another string. Something more interesting instead of hi, ho, 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 or those kinds of things. Like write a sentence. Just any random old sentence. Okay, fantastic.
Then
And now please try and find the index of P. The index of the first occurrence of P in there. And print on the screen the index of the first occurrence of P in the variable myString. No, print it on the screen, please. Don't save it to a variable. Just print it on the screen.
just print it.
Yes.
Wait, the printed what? Printed what? Sorry.
You need to print the index of the first occurrence of the letter P. So first of all, how do we print something on the screen?
So the print, then the bracket, that's my string.
Well, start working on it. So first of all, we have to print something on the screen. So you will need to have a print statement. No, you're not putting an equal to anything. Again, there's a distinction. Programming syntax follows some kind of logic. If you're setting something equal to something else, because essentially when you make a variable, you're setting it equal to something else. You're saying, hey, this is equal to that. So when you're setting something equal to something else, then it makes sense for there to be an equal sign. But if you want to tell the computer to do something, when you say print something on the screen, you're not saying set print equal to something. You're just saying print something on the screen. So it wouldn't make sense for there to be an equal there. Not every line of code has an equal sign within it or after it or anything. It depends on logic and where and what you're doing. If you have to print something on the screen, you will not use equal because you're not setting anything equal to something else. You're just doing something. So, print. What are we printing?
Okay. So my string, right?
Okay.
String.
And then we need to find the index of the first occurrence of a P.
Like this index.
No, because you put a comma. It's a dot. Between myString and index, you need to put a dot.
Like what dot?
Just a point, full stop, yes. That.
Index.
Okay.
Then the bracket, this one.
No, not square brackets in this case. Just curly, normal brackets. Shift 8.
And then what I need to find?
P. The letter P.
So I need just put the P, right?
Well, not exactly, because again, we're looking for a letter P. So P is considered a string in this case. It's a piece of text. And what do you do whenever you have a string? Whenever you have to start a string?
The number, the integer.
No, that's an integer. What do you do whenever you have to define a string? Write a string down.
Write a string down.
Yeah, what did you do on line 24, for example? You open quotation marks. That's whenever you're dealing with text in such a way that has to be considered as the text itself and not as orders that you're given to the computer, you always open quotation marks. And then you need to find what letter?
P.
Okay. And so what will this print on the screen? Tell me the number that will be printed on the screen.
It will be 2 numbers. The
No.
zero- just 2 P.
This will find the first occurrence of P.
Alright. So 0, 2.
What? Why 02?
0, 2.
Yeah,
Number 2.
2.
So I need to print it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. And here we have 2.
Oh, cool.
Nice, good job. And yeah, that's about it. I think I'll finish the lesson here. And yeah, thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Alright, goodbye.